to another episode of Restaurant Remake, and you are watching the Food Travel Shopping channel with Mark. Okay, so I am gonna reattempt to make the Emeril's New Orleans shrimp and chorizo stuffed clam. Now originally it is when I had the dish at Emeril New Orleans, it was crawfish and chorizo stuffed clam. So I recently checked out their menu, and actually they have the Gulf shrimp stuffed clam. So actually I am not that far off. So even though I don't have the crawfish where I live here and it's not in season anymore, so it's okay to do the shrimp and chorizo stuffed clam. Okay, so let's check out what other things on their menu, and that's interesting. The New Orleans sour, okay, that's interesting. There's some wine here, okay, so these are wine by the glass. And they serve beer, okay, so let's go back up and check out their dinner menu. Oh, the scallop pan roast, maybe I will do that next time. What other things? They do still have the Gulf shrimp and stuffed clams, which I'm gonna be doing exactly. Although I don't have the crawfish, which is fine because their menu is right now is serving Gulf shrimp, so that's perfect. Okay, without further ado, let's get cooking. Okay, so here I'm gonna soak the clam for 2 hours, so let all the sand and debris come out from the clams. Okay, so after placing all the clams into the pots, I have 1 cup of white wine in there, and we are going to cook it until the clams start to open. Okay, so some of the clam is open, so let's get that out. So for the one that's open, look at how nice it is, nice and puffy. So we're gonna put it in another bowl and let it cool off. So that is all our clam here. Let this cool down, and then we are gonna cut the clams. Okay, so you don't wanna toss away the water. We're gonna keep the water, but we're gonna strain it. Okay, so we're gonna use the clam juice later. Okay, so we wanna remove all the clams. Now with the shell, you wanted to put it into another bowl of water. Okay, so just leave that in. As we remove the clams, we're gonna put the shell into the water. So you can see the water will contain some of these clam debris, and we want to just rinse that off later. Okay, so now I'm going to chop the clam. Now you don't want to chop too small, chop the clam into too small of pieces. So I'm just going to do 1 clam into 6 pieces. So I'm just going to put it into a bowl. Or for the smaller one, you can even do in 4 pieces if that's what you want. Okay, so we're gonna put that to the side as well. Okay, so the next ingredients that I have here is the shrimp. Okay, so I have 15 shrimp here, and these are all wild caught shrimp, and it's already peeled. Okay, I just want to double check here that everything is clean. Some of them are not clean, so I want to make sure I get rid of the intestine. So double check here, even though when you bought it, it's supposed to be all cleaned out. So now I'm just gonna chop the shrimp a little bit. Okay, so again, we're gonna cut the shrimp. You don't want to cut it into too small of pieces here. We can just leave it like that. So about the same size as the clam, that would be good. Alright, so that's good. So this is where we have all our shrimp. So I'm gonna put that in the bowl. Okay, so these are all the ingredients that I will be using to make the stuffed clams. Okay, so first of all, in a pot, we are going to render the fat out from the chorizo. So let's add that in. So in a medium to high heat, we're just gonna let that cook down. So now we can add in the onions here. As well as the garlic. So we're gonna cook this down until the onions is translucent in a medium-high heat. Okay, so while the onion is still being cooked, I'm gonna add in the crushed peppers. Okay, we're gonna cook this down for another couple more minutes, so then until the onions is translucent. Okay, so remember the clam juice that we strained from the pot earlier? We want to add this in. Okay, you don't have to add the whole thing. So I'm just gonna add until it covers. I'm gonna pour it until it covers the chorizo and the onions. And that's good. Okay, so now you want to add in 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Okay, so we're gonna stir here until the butter is melted. Okay, so almost there, the butter almost melted. Okay, once the butter melted, I'm gonna put in my shrimp now. Okay, give it a good stir. Okay, next I'm gonna add in my parsley and cilantro. Okay, then I wanna add in my lemon zest. And I'm also gonna squeeze in my lemon juice. So we're adding 1 whole lemon in here. Okay, give it a good stir. Okay, so now I'm gonna add in our clam. And finally, I'm gonna add in our French bread. Let it soak it up. And there shouldn't be any liquid in there once it's soaked it up, okay? So if there's still a little liquid, you want it to add in a little bit more of the French bread. But the mixture here should be wet, essentially. Okay, so if you think it's a little bit wet, you can add in a little bit more bread and let that soak up the rest of the liquid. And here you don't have to be gentle. You want to break up the bread here. Okay, so just like when you are doing your Christmas or when you're doing your Thanksgiving stuffing, right? So you want to break down the bread here as we kind of mix this in. Okay, I'm gonna press it a little bit. So just to have those bread kind of break down a little bit. Okay, that looks good. I don't want to see the actual pieces of the bread here. Okay, so let's put this aside and it's ready for assembly. So let's look, you can see the texture here. Okay. And the texture here is moist, it's a little bit wet, but it's not liquidy. Okay, you don't want to have any visible liquid here. And this is actually very good. So let's get started with the stuffing. Okay, so it's time to stuff our clams. Okay, so I think I'm gonna be generous first. Okay, and try to stuff it very full like this. Because I remember when I ate it at the restaurant, it was pretty massive and it was impressive. And just gonna do the same. Okay, so we're gonna try to be as neat as possible. I think this looks good right here. Okay, so we're gonna put it into our pan here. Okay, as I'm stuffing here, I can smell the stuffing. It's so good. It really does remind me of New Orleans as I'm doing this dish. So we went to New Orleans 2019 and 2018. And we were joking that we would probably start a tradition that we go every year. But of course, right now, during the pandemic, we can't go anymore. So that's the end of our tradition. Okay, so as you can see as I'm stuffing, like I said when I was cooking this down and mixing it in, I said you don't want it to be very liquidy. And so now as you can see, it's a relatively like a sticky texture here, right? So that's a good sign. But you don't want to put too much breading because sometimes when you put too much breading, I don't like, you know, stuff that has overly breaded. So I think this is a good balance right here with the stuffing. So that's good. Lovely right here. So the assembly line is completed. I have my 15 stuffed clams. Okay, so once the pan is heat up, we're gonna add some oil here, a little bit oil. Okay, so first I'm gonna put in the garlic. Then I'm gonna put in the chorizo. Okay, then I'm gonna add the shallot in. I'm also gonna put in my kale. Okay, so we're gonna let this cook down here. Give it a little stir along the way. Okay, so we're just gonna season it a little bit with the pepper here. Just the pepper. I'm not gonna put any salts here. The chorizo have enough sodium content here, and the sauce should be enough in terms of the taste of the saltiness. Okay, so with the 1/4 cup of the rice vinegar, I am gonna pour this in. I'm gonna deglaze our pan. Give it a quick stir. Okay, so now I'm gonna add in my 1 cup of the chicken stock, and I have it as low sodium chicken stock. So now you wanna bring it back to simmer. Okay, I'm gonna add in my lemon juice now. So we're gonna use 1 whole lemon. Okay, so let's give it a good stir. Okay, so we're gonna add in our butter a little bit at a time. And we're gonna put this into medium-low heat. Okay, so we want the butter to melt completely first. Okay, once the butter completely melted, we can put in our parsley. We're gonna also add in our cilantro. And we're now gonna fold this in. And finally add in your lemon zest. Okay, so let's give it a taste. Alright, very refreshing with the lemon zest and all the aromatic in terms of the cilantro and the parsley. Okay, so I think I just wanted to add a little bit more pepper. And a pinch of salt, a little bit. Okay, and then we can put the sauce on the side. break apart because of the lemon juice. 係咪就變咗係嗰啲太多水啦？唔係就變咗散啦。Start plating, and there are 3 clams here at the restaurant when they serve. So I plated the 3 clams here and position it like this. And now we're gonna drizzle the sauce back on, and I want to make sure that every clam has some sauce on top of it, and definitely wanted to have some salt on the plate. And don't forget at the end to wipe down the plate so then it's presentable. To finish garnish the plate, we are going to put some Parmigiano Reggiano up on top of the clam and top it off with the parsley at the end. And now we are ready to serve. Okay, so Shan and I invited our friends over, and they recently moved to our nearby town. So we really wanted to host them a dinner and welcome them to be our neighbors. So we're gonna ask them to try out our dish here. So right here we have the shrimp and chorizo stuffed clams. Bon appetit, guys. So feel free to try it out and give us some feedback.
It smells amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really good.
A lot of flavors in one bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you start chewing, you start tasting like a deeper flavor. Oh, it's a little spicy too.
Yeah, has a little kick to it.
Yeah, oh, that's really
It's
good.
the New Orleans.
Oh, it's actually,
Yes.
oh, I like this.
So originally the dish is from Emeril, New Orleans, and at the restaurant I had it before, so I really liked it. They do the crawfish with chorizo stuffed clams, but unfortunately where we live here we don't have the crawfish, and down at New Orleans I guess they have a lot of crawfish all the time, so yeah. So I replaced it with shrimp. Okay, so but everything else is copied from Emeril's web recipe, and they were very gracious to share their recipe from their website, so I decided to try it out.
Oh, this is really good.
I give many thumbs up.
Me too.
I hope you enjoyed this shrimp and chorizo stuffed clam video, and if you decided to try this out as well at home, I would put the Emeril New Orleans recipe below, and I want to give them the full credit because this is a recipe that they posted on their website, and I decided to recreate this dish, and it really brought back a lot of memories that I had in New Orleans, and I can't wait to go back and have more dishes. So I definitely would probably try out to recreate more of the recipe that they have posted as well. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit the like button. And if you have not yet subscribed to our food travel shopping channel, please subscribe to our channel as well as follow us on Instagram as well, the food travel shopping channel. Now in this video, you can see that I actually also made a braised oxtail with red wine for my friends as well. So if you want to check out that video, I will link that video below as well, and you can watch that video as well. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.